the young one. I got Keystone. No, I got Keystone from the young. The people that was doing rock company.
This is yours too. Yeah, it's not gonna be that long. Are you gonna do it after the committee then? Okay. Right.
Don't let her. That kid's making bank on those rocks he's rolling.
Okay, we're ready to get started.
Okay.
She's in the alley.
All right, we're going to get started with the committee of the whole meeting, please. Okay, good evening. The hour being 7:15 PM on Monday, October 23rd, 2023. I'd like to call to order the committee of the whole meeting of the village board. Bridget, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Ketchmark?
Here.
Trustee Cote?
Here.
Trustee Hendricks?
Here.
Trustee Gahuli?
Here.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Here.
And President Garvey.
Here. Okay, we have one item under regular business, the presentation regarding the estimated 2023 tax levy as required under the Truth in Taxation Act, otherwise known as Doug Cooper's favorite night of the year. Doug, what are you thinking this year?
Not enough. So this presentation is on the Truth in Taxation Resolution, which is required by the state of Illinois. Basically, the village is required to estimate and approve a preliminary estimate of its annual tax levy. And the reason for this is not so that this will be the final tax levy, but so that the village can move forward with its tax levy process, and especially in determination of whether or not there'll be a public hearing. If the levy estimate increases by more than 5%, we are required to hold a public hearing. But that is kind of a moot point here with the village of Brookfield, since regardless of what our increase in the tax levy is, we've always had historically a public hearing. The date for the public hearing is going to be, unlike what it says on there, it's actually December 11th. I went the wrong way on my dating. So it is actually on December 11th, preceding or part of the village board meeting. Go to the next slide. Thank you. Oh. So under the Property Tax Extension Limitation Act, or PTEL, and I know that a lot of you already know this already, but the law says that the village or any taxing body who's covered under PTEL can only increase their levy the lesser of 5%, I'm sorry, the greater of 5%, or the CPI. No, they said that wrong. So it's the CPI or 5%, whichever is less. So the CPI for 2022 ended up being 6.5%, so that is the amount that we can levy for the 2023 levy. I'm sorry, we can only go up to 5%. So let me start over on this again.
Roll call, please.
Oh, my God. All right, so the CPI is basically 6.5%. So you look at the 6.5% or you look at the 5%. You can only go the lesser of the two. So we can go up to 5% on our levy. However, we do make accommodation for new growth in order to capture new growth. Historically, we've always gone, I believe, between 1% and 2% above the allowed CPI amount. This year, I'm recommending a 6.1%, as you'll see in the numbers later on. The new growth is an estimate. I'm estimating it to be about $1 million in new growth, which will add about $25,000 to the levy. We'll see how that ends up. It's been kind of it's been a little bit problematic the last couple of years. Setting the levy. The total levy that we're recommending, and this was for both the village as well as the library, is $13,004,193. The library has a 2023 levy. They approved it at the last week at their October meeting. Their increase is 6.1%, also similar to what the village will be doing theirs on. The next line talks about what we expect the increase to a home with a $300,000 value at a 5% increase, since that's a maximum that can be assessed on a parcel outside of new growth, and we estimate that to be about a $146 increase, and that's at a 5%. So I looked at the levy and I said, okay, well, if we're going to go up this amount, 6.1%, what is the amount of increase that is each percent? So each percent that we levy gives us about another 125,000. So as we move through the budget cycle as well as we move through the tax cycle, there'll be 3 more meetings before the public hearing. We can discuss if there's adjustments that the board would like to make to where we're at right now. If they'd like to move it down, we can't move it really up anymore. I'd prefer not to move it up, but if we can move it, if you'd like to move it down, we always have that ability to do that. Because the board will approve the tax levy at the meeting in December, and it needs to be filed with the county at the last Tuesday, by the last Tuesday of December. So if you go to the last page here, just run through the numbers. So the column to the left is where it starts general levies. I see I didn't put the year up there. I apologize for that. But the general village levy that we're looking for, that includes the police, fire, and general levies, is going to be 6.7 million. That's what we're estimating it to be. That's an increase of 462,000 over the previous year, or a 7.4% increase. The debt service levy, which is, as stated by village ordinances, every time you pass a debt service levy, it tells you exactly what the tax needs to be on that. The total there is going to be a decrease of $171,632, or a 6.11% decrease. And then you have the pension levies. The police pension levy will be increasing 13%, and the firefighter pension levy will be increasing, 17.47%. And those 2 levies are actually what the actuary told us that we need to levy in order to appropriately fund for this current year. The police and firefighter pension boards have reviewed those actuarial reports, and we expect to have compliance letter coming forth in time for our audit. And the compliance letter basically says the Board of Police or Firefighter Pension recommend this amount of the levy, and those amounts should tie out to what's on here. So our total village levy that we're looking for is okay, I made a mistake on that other one, is 13,004,193, and that's what the village is looking for. That's an increase of $753,000, or 6.15% over the previous year's levy, extended levy. And the library levy, they're looking for 2.7 million, which is an increase of 158,166 over their previous levy, which is 6.13. You add all the numbers together, the total increase we're looking for on our tax levy for village and library combined is $911,481, or a 6.15% increase. Those are your numbers. And like I said at the beginning, these numbers are just an estimate. They do not obligate the village to levy that amount. We will be going through 2 regular board meetings and a budget meeting prior to the public hearing, so changes can be made based on any issues or discussion that the board might want to have on this amount. We made the estimate based on where we can go, which is the 5% level as allowed. This is the second year that the village or any taxing body under PTEL can levy up to the maximum of 5% since PTEL was initiated. I believe it probably will be going down next year. The rate of inflation is already around 3%, so I expect it to be about a 3% increase next year. My suggestion, recommendation, as much as I hate to say it, is to go for the full 5% increase at which we are allowed. Because once you leave that money on the table, you'll never get it back going into the future. So I think for fiscal responsibility for the village, I would recommend that be the 5% increase. And that's all I have. I don't know if the board members have any questions.
Any questions or comments from the board? I mean, as the board knows, our levy is the key funding source for the key items of government operations, including the pension funds. So, I mean, that's a big basis of Doug's recommendation that we try to levy or request the maximum. Because if not, we kind of limit future boards and future decisions about what we do. And this is just the beginning of the process. This is the preview pursuant to the Truth in Taxation Act that we have this, and then we'll talk about it several more times, so.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Anything else from the board? Okay, thank you, Doug.
You're welcome.
That's the only item we had up for committee discussion tonight. Once again, I'll open it up to public comment. Is there anyone on this side that has any public comment? Anyone on this side? Okay, hearing no public comment.
Well,
Oh, I'm so sorry, CP, I didn't see you there.
I was just curious, and Doug, before you run off, the bond, the debt limit is going down, and the debt, is that a result of we're now past the peak of the road bonds, and we're headed back
One
down?
of the issues, especially the interest rate is dropping off, so as you go closer to maturity, the interest rates drop. So the principal drops and the interest decline, that principal drops, so that's the main. The principal is pretty steady throughout the entire issue, but yes, I think the first one in 2016 is retired in 3 more years, or 2 more years, 2026, and then 2028, and then, so,
Right.
yeah, it should keep decreasing.
Thank you.
Thank you, CP. Anyone else? Any other public comment? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to entertain a motion to go into executive session at 7:25 pursuant to Section 2C5 of the Open Meetings Act to discuss purchase or lease of real property for the village's use.
So moved.
Motion was made by trustee Ketchmark, second by trustee Kaluzny. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Cote?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Gahuli?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, we're adjourned into executive session at 7:26.